to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
All righty, welcome back. And let's introduce Tracy Sandler, CEO and founder of Fangirl Sports. She is in Santa Clara as we speak, and she will be going out to the field in 15 minutes when she concludes this interview. Thank you, Tracy, for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Who's going to start at quarterback week one for the San Francisco 49ers?
I mean, if I knew that, then I would be in, I don't know, I might own your radio station, to be honest with you, if I had the answer to that one just at my fingertips. But I think we're going to see over the next several months, will Brock Purdy be healthy? I do think if Brock Purdy is healthy and ready, then it is Brock Purdy. But chances of him being completely ready, I'm not a doctor, but even under the best of circumstances, in my opinion, he probably won't be ready week 1 or 2. So it's going to be Trey Lance, Sam Darnold season in this offseason. And let's see what they got. I mean, I do think Trey Lance performs well and shows the 49ers that he's the guy that they traded all that draft capital for. They'll start week 1. But we have so many miles to go because, as you mentioned, I'm heading out to OTAs for the first time here in May, in a little while.
Right.
Tracy, I was telling Steiny I'm excited about the Niners secondary, but what if I told you I'm also a bit nervous? I know they lost some guys. Ward is gone. I mean, where are you at when I bring up the Niners secondary?
Well, I think you kind of summed it up there. There's a lot to be excited about. There's some stuff to be nervous about. I think Deommodore Lenoir really came on in those last several games when he came in for Emmanuel Mosley in week 5, and he never gave up that starting position. And I think the 49ers are excited about what they saw from him. And I think 49ers fans should be excited in what they saw from him. He made such a jump from year 1 to year 2 with yet another offseason under his belt, with the job really being his to lose. I think that we're going to see an even bigger jump from Lenoir. They brought Isaiah Oliver in, who will most likely be their nickel corner. So I think there are reasons to be excited, and there are some reasons to be nervous because of all the new faces that you're going to see back there.
Tracy Sandler joining us on 95.7 The Game. She's the CEO and founder of Fangirl Sports. She's in Santa Clara getting ready to go to OTAs in about a half hour. What's the strongest? I mean, John Lynch has essentially said that Purdy's their number one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
100% said that.
Okay. So in theory, if that's the case, when he's healthy, he should become the starter immediately, right?
In theory, he should, but this is sports, and this is professional sports, and in theory, yes, he absolutely should. But I'm just going to throw out a total hypothetical, and first of all, apologies that I've kind of lost my voice a little bit. I'm throwing out a total hypothetical here. Let's pretend Trey Lance has a fantastic offseason. He has a great preseason. They decide that until Purdy's healthy, Trey Lance is going to start. So let's pretend, this is also hypothetical.
I love it.
And that Trey Lance isn't ready till week 4. And I'm sorry, that Brock Purdy isn't ready till week 4. And Trey Lance has played well all this offseason. The 49ers are 3-0. Do you change up that chemistry? Do you mess with what you have? Or do you continue with Trey Lance, let Brock heal even further, and know that you have someone very reliable behind him? I don't know the answer to that question. That is the very hard part about being a head coach in the NFL and really at any professional sports team. But, I think there's just so many things that are going to happen between now and the time the season starts, and between now and the time Brock Purdy is ready to actually start a game, that it's just hard to tell. There are so many variables that could go into this. And I know that we, of course, have to talk about them because otherwise what would we do? But there are just so many variables that I think it is somewhat almost impossible to completely predict how this will all play out.
I'm with you, Tracy, and I got to be honest, this is another – I come down Kyle's road at times for in-game management decisions, not throwing the flag in the NFC Championship game, but I also recognize – it's like I'm telling my partner here, he can do it with any quarterback. And when I say do it, Tracy, get close. Now, I just had a question I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot. I know for many years the Niners, their staple was their defense, and I get it. They added Hargrave, but they lost Shire. They lost Ebukam. They lost Wards. Those guys aren't Bosa, but I believe that will affect them. If I said, what unit do you have more confidence in now? The defense for the Niners, or now with McCaffrey in this offense, i.e. whatever quarterback, Tracy, how would you answer that? Because I don't know. I think it's close now.
I still think it's the defense, because the thing with the quarterback position is we don't know who's going to be quarterback. We don't know who's going to be healthy. There's a lot of things we don't know. We know what that defense looks like. I'm sure they lost those guys that you mentioned, and they were all big losses, but that's, you can't pay everybody. You can't keep everybody. The addition of Hargrave, I believe, actually catapults them to the number one defense in the league. I don't think that there's any defense that is as good. I'm not going to say if it doesn't come close, because I would say that Eagles defense is awfully fantastic. But I think Hargrave does catapult them to the number one defense in the league, and that's how this team is built. This team has been built under the Lynn Shanahan era to have this incredible defense, a strong run game with offensive weapons, and a quarterback that can get it done, assuming that he is accurate and healthy. We saw in the NFC Championship game that they do need a quarterback to be able to win football games, but they can figure it out. But I also would make the argument, I don't think they can do it with any quarterback, because I do want to give some credit to Jimmy Garoppolo, because I know he got beat up on a lot, but he's a winner. And there were games that it had to be on Jimmy, and he won it, and his players play for him, and his teammates want to win for him, and he knows how to win football games. So I don't think they can do it with just any quarterback. And I would also say Brock Purdy came in. He didn't turn the ball over. Kyle Shanahan trusted him to get the job done. He had those 4 years of college football under his belt. He had a lot of the season to get used to the offense and to the playbook. So I don't think it can be just anybody, because I do think it takes away from the guys who've been successful here and have been successful because of their work and their talent.
Tracy Sandler joining us on 95.7 The Game, CEO and founder of Fangirl Sports. She's at 49ers OTAs right now in Santa Clara. And a fascinating situation at quarterback, no doubt about it. Let me throw this at you. Because here's it seems like some fans there are people who know the Niners that say they've got a limited window. A limited window.
Yep. I would agree with that.
I cannot believe that the Niners would ever say that, because, I guess what I'm saying is, how can you have a limited window and be relying on either a quarterback that's only started 4 games or a quarterback that's only started 8 games to fit into that window? Because they're really 2 young quarterbacks still.
They are, but that's how this team is built. So, they weren't going to make a change at quarterback. They weren't going to bring in a super high-priced guy, nor could they really with their cap constraints. And that's how this team is built. So I do think they have a window. I think it's somewhat limited. But I also will say this. I'm going to assume, as much as everybody likes to beat up on them, I think that the 4 NFC Championship games and the Super Bowl appearance, that tells me that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have some idea of what they're doing out there. And if they really thought they didn't have the answer at quarterback, they would have gotten a quarterback. They would have figured it out. So I'm going to assume that they think who they have will work in this offense and get the job done, because they do have a limited window. And no, they haven't flat out said that, but really even last year, starting with the first day of training camp, everyone to a man said, Super Bowl is on our mind. That's Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And that is kind of saying we know there's a window without flat out saying it. So I think they do know, and contracts are going to start coming up in the next couple of years. And next year they're going to have to figure out how to pay Ayuk, and can they have Debo and Ayuk? And again, I'm so sorry about my voice, you guys. But all of these things. So I do believe that if they felt that they did not have what they needed at quarterback, they would have figured out a way to get someone else here. So they have to feel confident in what they have.
Tracy, we'll get you out of here on this one. Put us in your world. You're about to go out to practice. What's on your docket? What are you looking for? What are you excited about?
Well, I'm going to have to go straight to quarterbacks, because it really is just not a 49ers offseason if it's not all about quarterbacks. So I'm excited about that. I'm not sure if Javon Hargrave is here. If he is, excited to see him in person and just kind of see some of the rookies and how they fit in, even though we saw them at rookie minicamp. But this will be the first time we see them with the rest of the team. So it's also just going to be kind of cool to see some football flying in the air, because that means we're one step closer to September.
Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Great stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And next time, I'll be all healed.
All right. All right. Tracy Sandler, CEO and founder of Fangirl Sports. She's at 49ers OTAs. Maybe she